Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is 4 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome back Tuesday afternoon. Well, I mean, what can we say here? Did not see that coming from yesterday's closing prices, and we woke up pretty bloody red. SPX, down 30, 40 points at opening today. The Nasdaq or the Q's down over $5 in the morning here. Went from pre-market 445 down to 438 and recovered a good chunk of it this afternoon. What it kind of reminds me, what year was it? 2022, 2000, yeah, right about 2022, where you had to wake up every day to check the VIX, right? Or you wake up every morning, you have to check the bond market, the TLT, and check the dollar index. And then everybody was, during that year, I think it was 2022, every day was just like, okay, we got to make sure the commodities and the oil stays low and the gold and your silver and all that stuff. And of course, Peter Schiff is all over all over social media today, right? I mean, the Bears are back when Robert Kiyosaki starts tweeting on a down day. I don't know if you guys caught his tweets. But anyway, I hope it's not that kind of times again that we have to go back and look at gold and look at oil prices. Yes, gold futures are up 2,300. Your energy, all right, Brent crude oil, 88, 89, 90, all right, up a couple percentage points today. And is it one of those times again that we have to just wake up and watch the VIX every morning, right? But let me start there then, all right, since we're going to talk about the VIX. So you look at the VIX candle today, and that's pretty bearish for the VIX, all right? So it closed, it spiked up this morning, gapped up quite a bit here to 1543. And yesterday was not looking that great, but the bond market is starting to catch up, and it was just too much for the market to ignore this morning. And I think you got a little bit of overreaction this morning regarding the over to the indexes, but you got a shooting star, a gravestone doji on the day with the VIX, and that's not a pretty looking candlestick. And so that's what I'll say about that. And if I actually start comparing, all right, if you guys bear with me here, I'm going to pull up two charts for you guys. And so this is going to be the SPY, and this is going to be the VIX on the bottom here. And you start to see whenever we start spiking into the 15 to 16 levels, it has nearly most of the time marked a bottom or a temporary bottom on the index. Okay, so for example, we spiked up here on January 17th, all right, to 1523, and we got down that morning to the trend line, and the VIX fell off a cliff, and then we went on a run to 484. If you take a look at this bottom, this top here, February 13th, 2024, we spiked up to nearly $18 levels. That was here, and you got a beautiful doji day, and we went higher for the next 2 days before coming back to retest the trend line, which is right here, this particular shooting star on the VIX. And then if we go to March 11th, all right, March 11th, we went up to $16 or 16 on the VIX, and that also marked a bottom on the index, and it went a lot higher, right? And then retested, of course, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And so here we are today on April the 2nd, and you have a toppy looking candle on the VIX with two gaps on the downside with a daily doji on the day here. So take that information for what it's worth to you guys, but I'd say it's pretty bullish on equities. With that being said, also, right, let's go take a look at over on the Qs. All right, Qs, you got a beautiful hammer. You got a daily gap at 443. And by the way, SPY has a 521 gap on the daily, but your SPX has a 5242 gap, and that is a large gap, ladies and gentlemen. That's got to get filled somehow, some way. We don't know when it's going to happen, but if we take a look at SPX, yeah, you have 5242 gap, and it's not going to be, we're not going to moonshot into that gap. All right, it's going to take time. So 441, just shy of that 20-day moving average. But if you start to take a look around, if this is like legitimately the beginning of a huge sell-off, I would say the bears would be a lot more in control towards the end of the day, and they weren't. Nvidia just stopped shy of the 20-day moving average. Your Apple had a daily doji here, down here at the bottom. Your AMD performed well, recovered losses with the hammer just short of that breakout zone that we talked about yesterday. And I'm holding Amazon, and you look at this Amazon chart, and that doesn't look bearish at all. You need tech to completely roll over to call it a sell-off, right? And that's not what I'm seeing here. So 180.71 right at the breakout levels of Amazon, and that doesn't look bearish. You got some volume coming in as well. If we take a look at Meta didn't do that bad. Look at Meta. Meta was the star performer today. That doesn't look bearish to me either. So what's going on, right? Like I said, a little bit of panic over the bond market, bond futures this morning, and I think we can just call it that. So, but I would still obviously caution that over the next course of the week, the day, going into NFP data coming up soon here. We're going to see NFP data in about 3 days or so. It's one of those times, obviously, to be cautious. If you're gonna be bullish, you gotta still be cautious, especially with your call positions. I would obviously swing a little bit lighter. If we can close tomorrow above the 520 levels, then I'm just gonna say, okay, we're back, right? It's as simple as that. If we gap up and close, and maybe we'll get slapped by that trend line here, which is fine, right? Place and puts back to 518. And then run it up, potentially we're positioning ourselves for the NFP data. And what if NFP just not that bad? You saw the JOLTS data today, and it was just in line, right? It was just in line. So it's not bad. It's not bad data that we're facing. It's just that, again, the bond futures are throwing the markets into a scare and frenzy, and of course, gold and et cetera commodities. All right, so that's kind of my estimation for tomorrow. All right, we'll run it up and let's try to gap up and right into that trend line right about 520, 521. All right, cool off a little bit. They'll melt it back down and then reverse again. Especially tomorrow, you do have Powell. All right, Powell at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 Eastern. He's going to be speaking at Stanford on giving a speech on economic outlook. The market most likely we'll be watching that one. You could probably see some volatility in the morning. All right. So with that, I hope you guys had a great day. Started out red, recuperating some of the losses from the swings this afternoon. Not too bad. Not too, not great, not bad. All right. Kind of just like in between day. And we'll go